Greetings, everybody. Welcome back to Dalesford Abbey. My name is Father John Zagarella, and welcome to the Prior's office here at the Abbey. It's a great pleasure to be with you today. We take a little bit of a different turn with Rock the Word 153. We're focusing specifically on the season of Advent, and in particular, this coming Sunday, which is a very special Sunday in this holy season. It's Gaudete Sunday. And the season of Advent, as you know, is an opportunity for us to really get ready for Christmas. And we often think about getting ready for Christmas as getting our Christmas cards done and our Christmas shopping done and having our menu ready for our Christmas dinner. But as you and I know, all those typical things, as wonderful as they are, this year, all of those preparations like decorating and all the things that we do have taken on a special significance amidst the challenge of this pandemic. And we know that our family celebrations will not be what they have been in previous years, and hopefully we'll return to those again next year. But for now, it's a very, very different season of Advent. Nonetheless, COVID and the pandemic, as much as they affect the way we celebrate Advent in usual traditional ways, doesn't affect in a negative way necessarily the call every Advent for us to get ready, specifically our soul, our spirit, getting our spirit ready for the coming of Christ, the newborn Christ child in our midst on Christmas Day. The call is still there for us to use these 4 weeks of Advent to take a step back and to take a look at our lives and to ask ourselves, I think, that very, very important question: are we ready to receive Christ in a new way in our lives? That's the miracle of Christmas. Christ comes anew at Christmas. And the season of Advent is our opportunity to get our soul and our spirit ready for his coming amongst us again, to get this space ready for the coming of Christ. So a really good question for us to ask during the season of Advent is, am I ready? How will Christ come into my life in a brand new way? And as I said earlier, you know, the whole pandemic that we're going through puts a whole new spin on life. And maybe we've already started to recalculate our priorities. And maybe one of the things spiritually that this pandemic has done is allowed us to see what's really important: family, friends, and the love that we share. And hopefully, even though our traditional celebration of Christmas might be different because of it, it isn't going to stop the way we love and how we love and who we love. And maybe it'll even allow us to love a little bit more deeply. So here we are on the third Sunday of Advent, Gaudete Sunday. It is a special Sunday, and we know that if we look at an Advent wreath, there are 3 purple candles and 1 pink candle. That pink candle is for Gaudete Sunday, which we celebrate this coming Sunday. And the whole spirituality of Gaudete Sunday is that in this time of preparation, in this time where we take a more somber step backward and maybe reevaluate our lives and ask ourselves those very important spiritual questions like, how will I accept the Christ anew in my life at Christmas? Gaudete Sunday is a call to joy. In fact, Pope Francis, in a homily recently on Gaudete Sunday, said that this is a Sunday of joy. It's not a Sunday for us to focus on what we still need to do necessarily to get ready for Christmas, but all the good things that have already happened. So this particular Gaudete Sunday, the Church celebrates and lightens up a bit by a rose-colored or pink vestment that the priest might wear. And the whole theme of Gaudete Sunday is joy. So we see in our reading from the book of the prophet Isaiah, that it starts out that we rejoice. We rejoice in all things. And why do we rejoice? Because the Spirit of the Lord is upon me. Because the Lord has anointed me and has sent me to bring glad tidings to the poor, to heal the brokenhearted, to proclaim liberty to captives and release to prisoners, to announce a year of favor from the Lord and a day of vindication by our God. Isaiah continues, I rejoice heartily in the Lord. In my God is the joy of my soul. And the second reading for the third Sunday of Advent is, rejoice always. This comes from 1 Thessalonians. Pray without ceasing, and in all circumstances give thanks. So on this Gaudete Sunday, we give thanks. We rejoice. We're joyful. And it's signified by the beautiful rose or pink vestment and the pink color on the Advent wreath. So what song could we possibly focus on that would do justice to Gaudete Sunday other than the great song Gaudete by the 80s pop synth dance group Erasure? They came out with a Christmas album called Snow Globe in 2013. And on this great Christmas album is the song Gaudete. And basically, it's a very traditional setting for this song, for this ancient song. And in fact, it's sung in Latin, but it's set to a dance beat. So you talk about infusing this experience of Gaudete Sunday with joy and rejoicing. What else could give us that spirit of joy and rejoicing other than a classical hymn set to a disco beat? And as I said, the song is sung in Latin. And the opening line is Gaudete, Gaudete, Christus es natus, ex Maria Virgine, Gaudete. And what that first opening line means, rejoice, rejoice. Christ is born of the Virgin Mary, rejoice. The time of grace is present. This, what we have wished for. Songs of joy, let us give back devoutly. And then it continues in Latin. Deus homo factus est, natura mirante, mundus renovatus est, a Christo regnante, which means God has become man. To the wonderment of nature, the world has been renewed by the rejoicing of Christ. This is a time of great rejoicing. We think about how we're going to receive Christ anew in our lives at Christmas. But Gaudete Sunday really calls us and invites us to rejoice that we get this gift again. We get the gift of the Christ child anew in our lives, born of the Virgin. And that is, brothers and sisters, a cause of great rejoicing. We know that there are issues in the world. We know there are issues in our lives. We know that we come into this season of Advent and our world isn't perfect. And it probably won't be perfect by December 25th. But the whole idea of Gaudete Sunday is to take stock of all of the blessings that we have been given by Christ. All of the blessings that we have because Christ comes anew. You know, everything about this season is miraculous. Everything. Everything. From Mary's Immaculate Conception to the appearance of the angel Gabriel, who announces to Mary that she will be the mother of God, to Joseph receiving a message in a dream that, regardless of what human reasoning would tell us is the way that a woman becomes with child, Joseph receives a message to take Mary into his home as his wife, that she is conceived by the Holy Spirit. Miraculous. And then the great miracle of Christ among us, born on Christmas Day. the miracle of the Incarnation. I believe, brothers and sisters, that this season of Advent is ripe with miracles. Is it a season where we recognize that our lives are not perfect and maybe even a special burden this year because of COVID and all the hardship that brought into our lives and the lives of everybody in the world? But yet, we must take the opportunity to give thanks and praise and maybe even play a little bit, maybe even dance a little bit. Why? Because it is time to rejoice, because Christ is among us. I pray that this Gaudete Sunday, you experience the rejoicing of the coming of this great miracle, Christ among us. I pray that you can take stock in your lives of all the great gifts that couldn't possibly fit under a Christmas tree because they're the best gifts of all the things that Christ has given us. By the very fact that each year we have this season to rejoice in the fact that he comes among us in a whole new way. So, dance like nobody's watching. Rejoice. Gaudete Sunday is a gift. Brothers and sisters, rejoice.
Gaudete, gaudete, Christus est natus, ex Maria Virgine. Gaudete, 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 Christus est natus, ex Maria Virgine. Gaudete. Tempus ades gratiae, quod obtubamus, camina letitia, devote redamus. Gaudete, gaudete, Christus est natus, ex Maria Virgine. Gaudete, 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 Christus est natus, ex Maria Virgine. Gaudete. Deus homo factus est natura merante, mundus renovatus est a Christo regnante. Gaudete, gaudete, Christus est natus, ex Maria Virgine. Gaudete, 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 Christus est natus, ex Maria Virgine. Gaudete. Ex celis porta, clausa Petrum Zito, unde lux est tota, salus invenido. Gaudete, gaudete, Christus est natus, ex Maria Virgine. Gaudete, 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 Christus est natus, ex Maria Virgine. Gaudete. Ego nostra consito, salatiam in lustro, benedicat Domino, salus Regi nostro. Gaudete, gaudete, Christus est natus, ex Maria Virgine. Gaudete, 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 Christus est natus, ex Maria Virgine.
Content from the Springhouse is available free of charge. If you find this ministry is of service to you, we hope that you will support us in providing this content in an ongoing manner. We consider this a pay-it-forward endeavor. Not only would your donation help us to cover the expenses of producing its content, you would make it possible for us to offer it to others as well. As long as we are able, by your generosity, we will continue to produce content which we believe will serve the church. We hope that you might become a partner in this ministry. Please click the link in the description below this video to make a donation.